I want to talk to you about the timing and rewards of creating new habits. We've long been told by society that the new year is a perfect opportunity for a fresh start. And throughout the year, there are other times where the opportunity is great. Birthdays, holidays, even just ordinary Mondays. We know that people are more likely to, say, join a gym or start a new exercise regime in those moments, at those moments throughout the year. So we know that timing is really key in hopefully forming new habits. Because changing habits means essentially disrupting your routine, it can be effective to actually use some of these big life moments to help create new habits or remove unwanted ones. So such as moving house, going on holiday, changing jobs, changing roles within your current organization. These are all things that can help to affect those positive behaviors. During the pandemic, for example, we saw many people who were able to create better habits. So cooking at home more means eating healthier, essentially. Maybe people exercised more during the pandemic because they had more time. We also saw on the flip side of that, people who may have been watching more TV than ever before, maybe they weren't exercising enough, and maybe even going down to drinking more alcohol because they just found the weather might have been nice and they were at home more and they got into that rut. But a fresh start alone isn't quite enough. New Year's resolutions very rarely make it past January, so in effect they just don't succeed. Essentially, it requires more than one moment to affect change. So timing is really important when coming to create a new habit. But we must look at the reward system of dopamine. We need an immediate sense of gratification to affect long-term change and essentially make it sustainable. Now, dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a key role in reinforcing behaviors in the brain's reward pathway. It operates on a time frame of just seconds. Unfortunately, many desirable behaviors don't come with instant reward. For example, when you start running or even walking, it can be difficult and painful for the first week or two, and results don't come quickly. This lack of instant gratification can be demotivating. On the other hand, sitting on the sofa, watching Netflix for hours on end, you're getting an instant reward. Therefore, that habit is much easier to acquire. Given dopamine's short timeline, strategies that rely on long-term rewards don't build habits. They don't tap into the brain's habit learning mechanisms. So we need to be a little bit creative with building our habits. For example, I want to create the habit to go out on more walks every day. I also enjoy listening to my favorite podcast. I'm only going to listen to that podcast whilst I'm out on my daily walk. So what I'm doing there is I'm tapping into the instant gratification of listening to the podcast whilst I'm creating the positive habit. I'm doing the behavior that I want to stick. The other way of using the dopamine strategy is by setting up a simple reward system. So for example, if I want to create a new habit of getting up earlier in the morning, so at 6:30 instead of 7, for every morning that week that I get up at that goal time without hitting snooze, I earn a point. And that point buys me a special coffee from my favorite coffee shop that week. The initial change of implementing a new behavior into your routine is often the hardest one. It can often feel contrived, planned. It can leave you feeling uncomfortable, but you should take that uncomfortable, difficult feeling as a sign and remind yourself that you're doing this to impact positive change and you're building a new habit or getting rid of unwanted ones. So have a think about some of the habits that you want to form, as well as thinking about some of the things that you already do that give you that immediate gratification. See how you can piece those together to work for your benefit and create positive habits.